Well, here we are, Journey's End, the end of season 4 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, a controversial, yet I think oddly satisfying season. Some people don't like it. Some people think it's the worst of the series. I completely disagree with that. I don't even think there is a worst in the series as far as that goes. And I wonder if when people say that, they forget that Hush and Restless, the one we're about to talk about today, are in the series, are in this the particular season. I'm joined today, as usual, Critter Kingsford and Northern English Bastard. We're going to take a little journey talking about Restless. So, a little different than we usually do. I'm going to preamble this, and I usually don't do this because it's usually not necessary. Because if you're watching or listening to a podcast and or live stream talking about, you know, the entirety of a show, you should pretty much know that, or at least have some familiarity with the show. But if you're a person who's only gone so far with Buffy specifically, as it pertains to this episode, Restless, episode 22 of season 4, you need to be aware that there's spoilers not just for the rest of this season, which has ended, but the rest of the series in total. So if you're not aware of that, you have not watched the entirety of Buffy since it's been out for 20 something years. I would strongly urge you to not listen to this, because we're going to be talking about our theories on what the episode means, because it is very subjective, but we're also going to be talking about stuff that we find out to be true later on in the rest of the series, all the way up until the end of season 7, and even a little bit into season 8 graphic novel stuff, which I'll speak on when we get to that. So you've been warned. Don't get mad. Anyway, gentlemen, we are at Restless. I find this
This is the true finale.
to be like a work of art. I think it's definitely something that deserves all of the attention that it gets. I think it's one that not only seams itself between, kind of art house TV show schlock, but also takes our characters in a direction, the core four, so to speak, takes them in a direction that that they need to go in order to achieve what we get at the end of the episode. Ostensibly it's kind of a epilogue to season 4, because Primeval was the end of the big bad and whatever, and it's just our guys kind of hanging out together, Giles, Willow, Xander, and Buffy, at Buffy's house, and they're going to watch something we used to do back in the day for you young kids. We'd rent a bunch of movies and hang out and just watch them, and invariably somebody's going to fall asleep, and in fact in this one they all do. And I guess you could give it a little bit of Freddy Krueger-esque, since there is a villain hunting all of them. We find out that villain is actually the spirit of the first Slayer, the first ever Slayer created, which will be brought back in season 5 and again in season 7. They used a enjoining spell in order to beat Adam, so that Buffy could have combo Buffy powers, Giles's mind and magical knowledge, Willow's technical knowledge and her magic ability, and Xander's heart, I guess, which I don't know. Well, whatever on that one. What Xander brought to the table in that little enjoining spell is never really clear, but apparently it's just as equal as everybody else.
Well, that's just lazy writing.
But anyway,
he was just trying to help.
Yeah, he's just there. He's there to help out. I find this very rewatchable, this episode, and the little Easter eggs to what's going to come for the rest of not only the seasons following, but the series in total is really amazing. So it gives you, there's a lot of people who will try to headcanon stuff, like, oh, Iron Man 2, it shows the little boy that he rescues was actually Peter Parker and blah, blah, blah. Like, you can headcanon shit, but like, it is very clear that Joss Whedon had a vision up to the entirety of his show, and he knew where this was going. It's very clear. There is no arguing on that one. Everything that they have in this show that's an Easter egg does get revealed later to be part of the series in total, and I think it's fucking amazing. So I've gushed enough about it. I kind of just want to get a little brief overview of it. I mean, Critter, give me your thoughts on what this episode means to you, your interpretation of it, because it is widely open to interpretation. And since you being sort of the novice not only with the YouTube thing, but also with reviewing things and watching the show in general. I'm very curious to get your take on it.
Again, as you guys know, this is for me. Like 99% of all this is first time viewing for me. I only saw bits and pieces or certain episodes back in the day, so this is all new
Lucky
to
dog.
me. So I like this episode a lot. I love the trippiness of it. I also, and I've said it before, I like when characters, not so much like they get a personality change because they're under a spell or an alternate universe. Dream World, the movie Dreamscape came back to me, where you're stuck in a dream. You can't run. You have the ability to fly, but only 3 feet off the ground. And all this weird symbolism or fears, like that one shot of Xander in his basement, and there's a pounding at the door. I'm like, that just triggered me with thousands of dreams or nightmares you had as a child where you couldn't move or something was coming for you, the darkness. And like even the which was kind of silly, Willow, like you're in school in your underwear. Here she's at school. They didn't rehearse. What's her character? And here comes what's his name? I showed up, so I got to be cowboy guy, and all the absurdity of it all. So I really liked it. I don't know how much of a deep dive or analyzation I can do. Just that every character you kind of showed their insecurities. Where Giles is running around, and it's like he's just confused. Like he's not supposed to. Like they kept saying, "I'm not supposed to be here." Like, why did
Yeah.
this not work? It's so many points, bullet points of the fears and the regrets, and here they are helpless within each their own little dream moment or dream world. And again that they wake up at the end like, holy crap. And they're, I guess, in a way, they're all kind of confronting stuff. And they say that's what you do in some of your dreams. It's like stuff that's on your mind. And you can go down a crazy rabbit hole with symbolism. But I think for the TV show, it's just that. It's like wacky, weird things. Because I'll give you an example. You get a book on dream analysis. If your teeth fall out, it's not that you're afraid of going to the dentist. Apparently, it means you're afraid of change. So when you think of what you're dreaming about, it doesn't really mean what I think the books think it means. I always feel that it's stuff that's on your mind that you're worried about. Because I've had dreams. I'm in high school, lost, confused. And I even say, I don't belong here. And here comes my aunt to help me find my books. And like, that makes no sense. She lived in Brooklyn. I went she lived in Brooklyn. I went to school in Queens. Anyway, so the confusion and the absurd, like when you're walking from one room, then you're in the bar, then you're in the garage, then you're in your basement. I'm like, what is going on? So
Yeah.
I really love the episode for no other reason than just the insanity that each of these characters find themselves in. And I'll stop now with saying Spike doing black and white Vogue stances was the best.
Yeah. I'm going to ask something a little different than I usually do here. I'm going to let Northern give us his expository dialogue here in a moment. And I want you to think about not only your favorite quote, like I'm sure you have one. I want you to think about what is your favorite of the Easter eggs that reveal something later, even if it's something you don't quite understand. Of the Easter eggs, if you can think of one. And I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
Yeah, no, I'll try. I'm giving it thought. As Northern talks, maybe it'll inspire me.
Fantastic. Yeah. Northern, please.
Well, this is a very good trippy episode, and every time it kind of reminds me of the Sopranos dream sequence as well, where everything doesn't make sense, but at the same time it kind of does hint at something that's going on or may happen. And obviously, we see I love how Xander's dreams are sort of like a little bit of his pervy fantasy, trying to have a threesome with Willow and fucking Tara. And you got Anya saying she knows how to steer the ice cream van by being empathetic or something. And this is my favorite of the Easter egg, and that is Spike dressed up as Giles. And Giles is saying he's like a son to him because once you watch the episode later on, it makes this moment even funnier. But I like how it also reflects on how Giles is sort of this father figure to Buffy when he's taking her out to this fairground, and she's, instead of slaying a vampire, she's just throwing a ball at this vampire dummy, which I am a vampire. I am a vampire. Yeah, I know. I'm just going by memory here as well, so I can't really recall any favorite quotes, but I know it also hints at the finale of season 5, that really brilliant prophetic one, which kind of repeats the first one anyway. But Like I said, it's very trippy, but it's also very funny. But at the same time, it's very sort of creepy as well. And it manages to blend that without coming across inconsistent. But I think it might be. I think my quote that makes me laugh is probably Anya saying she knows how to steer the ice cream van empathetically. It's something like that. I'm going by memory most of the time. But yeah, like that.
Good timing.
Yeah, it's a very weird way to end the series, though. But I think it does kind of make sense because they had to have this final, and they probably couldn't fit all this stuff that they were hinting at as well. Foreshadowing. So yeah, it kind of makes sense a little bit, especially in a series that's kind of. It's not bad. It's just a little uneven at times. Sometimes it's hit and miss. You get some really great episodes, and you get some episodes that are just okay, and then others that are just meh. That's it. It just doesn't top the third one. But season 5, 6, I even like season 6. People say it's miserable. I think it's really good. Season 7 are the better seasons, in my opinion, though.
I agree. So one of the things that I you know me, I'm more into writing. I'm more into dialogue and plot and things like that. I'm very forgiving of special effects snafus and shoddy production, whatever. Highlander was one of my favorite TV shows, still is, and I mean they must have reused the same sets dozens of times throughout their 6 seasons. So I'm very, very forgiving of both of them. However, I would point out that this one is beautifully shot, and it's the fact that they did something so effing clever. So all of these scenes, if you guys don't know, or if the audience doesn't know, all of the scenes in this episode where they move seamlessly from like one dream to another and just like walk onto what looks like another set was accomplished with the fact that on the actual studio that they have for Buffy, Buffy's room is like literally right next to the Bronze, and the Bronze is right next to the library, and the library is right next to the magic box or whatever. And they're all the sets are like right next to each other. So that little clunky thing that they managed to use it in their favor, which I thought was really, really brilliant. I do also like they've caught to kind of caveat onto what Critter said. They were able, the showrunners and Whedon himself were able to grasp the concept of the ridiculousness of dreams. You really feel like you are in a dream with these guys. There's no things are just kind of abstract and said out of context and apropos of nothing. The Giles fucking getting up and starting to fucking sing portion, and and in his dream he still fucking rocks out hard as fuck. Which is great. Like people are holding up lighters because he is really good when it's really just I would stomach expository dialogue a lot more in shows and movies if they were singing it. Then I would be like, okay, well, especially if they were singing it hard.
Yeah, well, that is kind of the point, isn't it? It's like when you go back to the Disney films, it is their way of getting character to express what they're going through, but without being too spoon-fed.
Yeah, no facts.
I also like an example just with Xander with the chest wound. And it doesn't affect anyone else in the coffee shop. Giles gets up, he sings, and then gets distracted. Like he's back on his mission. So even though you just sang and rocked the house, and they what's this? And so it pulls him away. Just this weird roller coaster of absurdity.
Mm-hmm. I was really taken aback when I watched this the first time. That was once I heard Adam's voice coming out of this like tall, skinny guy that was like well coiffed. I was like, whoa, that's Adam. I would have never guessed that in a month of Sundays. Like he could walk up and down the street.
It was like a bodysuit then.
Yeah. I love this right here. When I was stationed at Fort Irwin, which is right next to Death Valley, I remember I had a moment, and I wish I still had the picture, but I had a moment where I was like standing on the desert right there, like very similar to where Buffy is standing. And I had somebody take a picture of me, and I'm like, look, I'm Buffy and Restless. And and nobody got the joke, which made me think I'm in the wrong branch of service. But yeah, this stuff about, Riley working with Adam and Riley calling Buffy killer and things like that. I find that to be very, very interesting for the things to come. The fact that they do a Dutch angle shot to show the Beretta sitting on the glass table because that's what, but then at the same time, it's like, oh, there's an emergency with monsters. Let's go make a pillow fort. And it's like, because that's what Buffy thinks. This is great. This isn't my favorite Easter egg, but it's a good one. The satchel that shows up again in season 7, which brings Buffy back to the Shadow Men that created the first Slayer. The fact that that was in there then, fucking banger, dude. Dude, you can't tell me Joss ain't a fucking genius, bro. And then one thing that we do here, probably not as well as Ian from Passion of the Nerd, is to kind of give our takes on this stuff and analyze it. But one thing we won't do is virtual signal. And I have to say, his cringy dialogue about the Black Slayer being misrepresented. Dude, shut the fuck up. There's like 3 Black Slayers that are on this show, and they were all like boss babes and fucking well articulate and stuff like that. Of course, the first Slayer is not going to have good language and speak like, dude, come on with that bullshit.
The vibe I got was Aboriginal. I'm going to get it wrong. The Australian Aborigines. That's what I thought she was supposed to be.
I wouldn't argue with that. I wouldn't argue with that.
Yeah.
But
that's
also,
the thing with leftists. They just don't get fucking context, do they?
No, they don't get context at all. Also, not for nothing, but I've been to Africa multiple times, and I've been in some of the bad villages, and that ain't too fucking far from 2011 when I was there. So, make of that what you will.
Yeah, because there's a lot of places that still indulge in fucking cannibalism and everything, and they still eat their young. It's like
body mutilation, things like that. Yeah, facts. So anyway, this is a great way to give us the Buffy's gonna die thing, because originally the concept was, let's get to season 5, let's kill Buffy off, and if we get renewed, we'll do more. But if we don't, well, then we'll wrap it up. And the whole 730, the dawn is coming, gives me chills when I rewatch it. And it's so well done. 730 more days until Buffy's gonna die, which is great. That is so fucking clever. Countdown from 730, and then the fact that Tara says, "Oh, that's all wrong," because it's really 730 from the end of season 3. So it's a double whammy of cleverness, and I'm here for it all day. All of these little things that with a show that you love that went on for a good amount of time, which Buffy did. In an expanded universe, which Buffy is, to find out these things and to see these little Easter eggs and knowing glances. And they're not the fake ones that they make today, where they kind of like try to retcon and headcanon and blah, 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 like the one I mentioned about Iron Man and Spider-Man and stuff like that. Like, it's not like just made up bullshit. It's actual stuff that they actually had planned, and they followed through on it. And I think
what helps is that you have a solid team of showrunners and the main creators in charge versus someone handing off an episode to some other writer. And so you get 3 or 4 episodes in a row, and it's connected, but there's still a disconnect because certain characters might act a certain way, or things just get dropped, or a character behaves, like, wait, what happened 2 episodes ago? Now she's like, not like Fallout. Season 2, she didn't learn anything. She's still kind of dopey and innocent.
Good example. Yeah, that's a good example. I like that. Those are my favorite Easter egg spoiler type things. My favorite quote is definitely, it's a little bit longer than most quotes, but it's the Buffy speaking to Slayer Prime, and just with that great Beck score behind her, just saying, I talk, I walk, I sneeze, I shop, I have friends, I'm going to be a firefighter when the floods roll back, and I don't sleep on a bed of bones, which is basically the mission statement for Buffy herself, the most powerful Slayer, the Slayer who has lasted the longest, because she indulges in having a real life, because she doesn't cut herself off from everything else, because she doesn't just blindly follow the Watchers Council, who basically could give a fuck less whether she winds up dead, and then they get a brand new Slayer that they can control easier and manipulate and stuff like that. I love all of that. And again, the whole, I've literally got a picture on my wall that I've shown you guys, with the quote, Buffy, with a picture of Buffy just saying she's never done anything wrong in life, by the way, which is basically it. Like, Buffy is singularly the greatest superhero ever put to TV screen, for sure. 100%. And I'll fight anybody that says anything different. And as much as I love Angel, Buffy's ability to not only figure out what it is that her place is as a slayer with the whole tradition and powers and thing like that. Basically, the contrast is that Angel made the best of a bad situation and became a champion despite the fact that he was supposed to be nothing but a demon and get killed or whatever. And I applaud that and I love that, but it's a completely different mission statement, and there'll be more to speak about for that when we talk about Shanshu in LA next. But I really appreciate the fact that Buffy took ownership of her destiny being the chosen one, and she's able to parlay it into still having a life and having friends, and kind of it's like, okay, well, these are my friends, and they have, some of them have really good abilities and some of them have powers. I'm going to use them in my fight against evil because I want to win and I want to live and I want to shop and I want to hang out and I want to have friends and a boyfriend and later kid sister and all that stuff. And I really value that about Buffy. I really like it, and it speaks to her character. So Critter, you want to finish us off on the I allotted us more time today because I thought we'd have Toonie Boy, but we don't. So I mean, indulge, go ahead.
Sure,
but please,
sure.
no Star
Well,
Trek
and
no Star
I
Trek
don't
references.
okay. I don't know if it's an Easter egg, and you guys can educate me, but like I'm just thinking as Northern was talking, like how these and even your points about Buffy wanting friends and she will get friends, whatever. Willow clearly in her dream is spazzing out and isn't prepared and isn't ready and didn't know they were like, I didn't study, I didn't what lines, wait, we had no rehearsal. She ends up becoming quite powerful, and from the limited shows I've watched fully, I know there was an episode, Dark Willow, like she pulls
Yeah.
the skin off of some Dungeons and Dragons nerd, or maybe all, I don't remember. I think she kills a bunch of guys that were messing with her, and I'm pretty sure she pulls, like, her eyes, typical, her eyes go all black. So I guess, I don't know if it's an Easter egg, but she's running around her dream, unsure, insecure, not uh, uh, um, confident in her skills, and then clearly in later, I do not know what season, becomes quite powerful to the point where she can fillet skin off of her enemies.
Yeah.
Um,
More than that, my friend. Trust me.
My quote, I think it's maybe one of the lighter ones again, and I don't even get me started about the cheese guy, but the cheese man says to Giles, "I wear the cheese; it does not wear me." And I like Giles' retort, "Honestly, you meet the most appalling sort of people."
All right. That is Restless. Yeah, God, what a banger of an episode. It was so interesting because, like I told you guys, on the first iteration of, like when this was out in the real world in 2000, I was working at a bar and got off work and had to go watch at my mom's house, and I had missed the two previous episodes. I missed them. And so I was like, this is really, it was really jarring. Luckily they did it previously on Buffy. So it goes like, oh, okay, she rips his heart out with a spell. Okay, cool. Got it. But yeah, it was really jarring on that. So, and yes, Buffy's never done anything wrong in life, by the way. And I stand by that. Even when she's done something wrong, she's still in the right. Because fuck the haters, as far as that goes.
The most powerful superhero. I think the fans of Plastic Man want a word with you.
Ooh, bring it on, Plastic Man fans.
No.
Anyway,
Are there?
we go to Shanshu in LA without any preamble. So the big thing was the Bavarian prophecies of a Bizarra or Bizarja or some shit. I don't know, whatever. So this scroll with the prophecies on it has been, vexing poor Wesley as he's trying to, figure it out and come up with some kind of an answer. On top of that, the Team Angel finds out that, Lindsay did not stay on the side of good and instead decided he was going to, be, promoted. I guess something like that makes the paper. Does that make the paper? A fucking lawyer getting a promotion?
Unless they're like super powerful in the city, like well known, maybe like the way the news would announce a new assistant, attorney general or a police chief, maybe a local paper in
LA.
A
lawyer in a law firm in LA making partner.
Maybe, I don't know.
That makes the LA Times.
I don't know.
Well,
I mean, if
that's just lazy writing.
if there was Facebook in
Right,
this
right.
show.
Yeah, if they had
Oh,
Facebook.
look, yeah, look on their
Huh.
Facebook page. You got promoted. I
They
guess
didn't even have. I think they had Friendster back then.
Yeah,
Friendster was what they had. It didn't even have MySpace yet. It
yeah.
was like, oh look, Lindsay McDonald added me as a friend.
It would have made more sense. It was some kind of law firm journal or paper. Like
Yeah,
a magazine that talked about
right.
what's going on in the law world.
Yeah. They could have. It's clunky, but it's all right. I'll forgive it. It's fine. Anyway, so yeah, they're going over. Wesley's really bent around the axle. I love the blasé attitude we get from Angel. Like the whole thing where he's like, he keeps reading whatever fucking book he's reading, never turns a page, by the way. I watched it twice. And Cordelia has to like make him put his feet down to walk around him and shit like that. And then we get David Nabbit pops up. So I was actually incorrect. I think in a previous episode, I think I said we only see him one more time. I guess we see him 2 more times because he does pop up once again in season 2. And I think it's in the first or second episode. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. I think or maybe even the 3rd episode. I don't know. He does pop up one more time in season 2. I know that for a fact. But, I mean, they could have done a couple different things here with him. They could have had him die violently and then like leave all his money to Angel Investigation so they could do their work. And that would have solved a lot of problems, or just been there like behind the scenes benefactor and have like a running joke that he keeps trying to like sneak up on Angel and company and to varying degrees of result. I don't know. Maybe they handled it fine. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I mean, whatever the reason is,
I was having a very similar thought, except he would be the guy that would continually fund them because he knows what they're doing. He knows because he's already said he's got no meaning in life because he's making so much money, but he's got nothing meaningful to do. So I thought, if I donate my money to help these guys out, I can be meaningful. I can be useful for once and not just be this smart guy who's just made millions.
Yeah.
Well, I know that we might have took a peek at his IMDb page last time you talked about him. And then in the real world, I don't know if he was doing, I don't remember him doing anything terribly awesome. So I don't know if maybe scheduling wise, he just couldn't appear anymore, which is why you didn't see him for
I don't know, but that would be an
repeatedly.
interesting, I'd kind of like, that would be an interesting thing to know. I've not heard anything in the realm of stuff. I may like float it around some of the Buffy groups, but again, you'll get as much bullshit answers as good answers in that. So I do like the little joke. Like I said, Passion the Nerd did this one, and he also gave it a good review. But he says this joke doesn't land for him. I thought it was actually funny. The demon could walk by any moment, and then they all look out the fucking door at the same time. I like jokes like that. Is that not funny? I thought that was funny.
And not to mention, he's wearing like a satin purple robe, which I'm sure most demons and evil critters that we've seen in the past, that's not the color they go to. It's usually black, red, brown. He's purple.
Well, also the immediate jump cut to the demon being raised is it's good. It's good. I like it. I thought it worked good. I don't know why he thinks it fell flat. I don't always agree with him. So
it's that good Joss Whedon humor, isn't it? It's like, a cauldron. Who uses them anymore? Then it cuts to a demon using a fucking cauldron.
Right. I like that this guy is like, they raised him from whatever dimension and he immediately starts like chastising them for fucking shit up. You're saying that the scrolls that will tell us foretold of his demise are in the hands of the champion. And it's like, I love that Lila like tries to like soft shoe the shit. It's like, we aren't unaware of the irony. It's like, Lila, shut up. Like, why?
Well, she's acting like a fucking corporate douche, like everyone. They're always trying to, soften up the bad news, aren't they? In their very corporate way.
I wouldn't have the guts. I don't care how brave I try to be. I don't think I would step up to a demon and say, "Yeah, that was my fault."
Yeah. Well, look at how this is blocked though. Lindsay's right in the forefront. Holland's like behind his 2 subordinates. Like, oh, okay. Well, if someone's gonna get killed, it's gonna be them first.
Anyone volunteering to be killed, take 1 step forward, and the entire line steps backwards.
Right, exactly.
Wait, what?
So this is great with the whole Angel's gonna die. The scrolls say Angel's gonna die, and Angel's reaction is, yes, very sad. Anyway, He's just like, he just doesn't give a fuck, which is great. And then I love the fact that, the powers send him a vision, something, because it's basically a nothing burger mission. Like it's just a homeless person being attacked. Who gives a shit about that? Northern, am I right?
Yeah. No, it's a terrible episode. Terrible episode.
But
They're all terrible.
But I see what it is. I see it for what it is, which is the power sending him like basically a text message through a migraine into Cordy's brain, just saying, hey, no, you're important. You do have a mission. You have stuff to do. Like go out there and go do champion shit. Kate shows up to the event. This is really, I don't like this version of Kate. And since this is the version of Kate we're getting for the rest of the Kate-ness until you get to Angel graphic novels for season 6 after the fall, since this is what we get for almost all of the rest of the time, it's really pedantic. Like watching it and knowing that this is what I'm going to have to keep fucking seeing for the rest of the time she's on here, boss babe bitch, fucking walking in and, just by herself. And, it's like, okay, that's great that she has knowledge of but it's like, at the very least, she should have had like a golf bag with like a sword in it or some shit that she went out and got enchanted and picked up. She's just walking back there with her pistol like she's going to be able to do anything if any real shit pops off. Because say she got there before Angel, what was she going to fucking do to the slime monster? Put some bullets in it? Yeah, harsh language. Angel emerging and then kind of looking guilty, like, hey, I was doing Angel stuff. Sorry. How are you? Like trying to be nice, and then she's being a total cunt. I managed to get the clip. Look at that slide. I managed to I really didn't do that on purpose. It was kind of an accident, but then I kept it because I didn't make another slide for that. Because his no, because it's like he's just like so over her bullshit. He's just like, whatever, bitch.
Yeah, I mean,
he fucking calls her out. He does. She gets all bitching, CUNTY with him, and he's like, listen, there's this little thing called fucking life. Okay, I didn't kill your father. Stop blaming me. Stop bringing your fucking daddy issues on me. Okay, if you want to be my enemy, try me.
Yeah,
but I would almost defend her. Now, granted, she should have a weapon of some kind. Wait. I would defend her.
We need an echo chamber in here. You're out.
Do not kick me out of the chamber.
All right, we lost Critter for some reason. I don't know what happened.
He was ruining the echo chamber.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
Sons of bitches. No, here's why. I don't think she dealt with it well, but having all your coworkers and subordinates mutter crap under their breath about X-Files and Ghost Hunters and the Munsters, and then having a guy like, she couldn't deal. She's blaming him for the father's death, not understanding the kind of the rules and regulations that he couldn't get in there to save him, and he did invite him in to save himself. So she's not dealing with it well, which is why she's being a bitch. So that's why
you're excusing this hot chick's behavior because she has daddy issues.
Yeah, I guess.
Daddy, when are we filming, Daddy? Come on, Daddy. Come on, Mama. Let's do it, Daddy. Let's film, Daddy.
But it goes back. She's not dealing with it well. She's letting it get to her. And again, my quote, and Northern just paraphrased it. Yeah, he calls her out. This is ridiculous. Like, you want to be my enemy? Try me, because like he's doing the best he can, considering he's a vampire guy stopping evil. And you would think, hey, let's work with him and sort my shit out later. And she doesn't.
No. This shot, I love it as she walks away and then the camera pans and, just Angel standing there with his sword and feeling like, damn, dude, I'm fucking trying to do the right thing. And this bitch is all the way at my ass. And the way he kind of just like twiddles the sword in his hand. He does that a lot in the show. If you watch, there's many, many times when Angel will move the sword around in his hand a little bit, like fiddling with it when he's like at rest or whatever, or like something's fixing to pop off or whatever. And you watch the show, you'll see it many, many times. That's like an affectation Boreanaz gave Angel, and I really like it. I dig it. But I also I like to think that he's just sitting there going, you know what? I could have just swung this bitch and chopped that bitch's head off, and no one would have been the wiser. Like, it would have just ended. I mean, I'm sure he didn't think that exactly, but I mean, we don't know that he didn't think it either. And then I like that it goes back to Wesley. Wesley, fucking God bless him, man. Still working on this fucking bullshit. Trying to get an answer for his friend, for his boss. Trying to
I
get.
like the interchange between him and Cordy as well. He's still, because they do kind of establish just how tragic being immortal can be as well. And of course, he's looking forward to death. Bloody hell, he's probably seen everything already in the last couple of 100 years. It's like, what else is there?
Let me throw Highlander back in there. Think about that. You're going to watch every woman, family member, even child grow old and die, or even Green Mile. Tom Hanks and the mouse are going to live for quite a long time. And then, just think about the pain. And Highlander goes and fights bad guys. Angel goes and fights bad guys. But good luck having a life partner that's normal or human. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. No, all good points. But yeah, it's one of those things where, so desperately, it's funny that Wesley and Cordy know Angel's value and he doesn't. Like, they're his friends and they understand, what it is that Angel, brings to the table, and Angel himself doesn't know. They so clearly see the vision and the mission. This will become important later in the next season. And it's just one of those things that I love that these guys there's a term that Gunn uses in the next season, and it's like, he tells one of his former gang member friends, you lost the mission, bro. Like, you don't got the mission. And Angel does. And at that point that he says is it's true. That's like season 3, I think. And, at this point, Angel, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, what he knows he's supposed to be doing. But at the same time, he's not fully invested in understanding like his place with it. And yet they do. So this is a prophecy thing. This is from the season 6 of Angel. And the reason why I clipped it. So this is the image that was basically given in the Shanshu prophecy. And it can be interpreted 2 ways. It could be that maybe that's evil Angel, and all these people are, once he murdered Vlad the Impaler imagery and things like that. But then you can also look at it as, we don't know what's in front of him, and he's fighting, the good fight with like the hordes and demons and things of that nature. So it's very interesting. And I thought it was very brilliant, the way that it was done. And, I like it. I'm here for it. So the next day, or into the morning anyway, Wesley and Cordy are talking, and Wesley gives her the donut speech and just, like, Angel has to want things. You have to need things. You have to have a purpose in life. And if you don't have a purpose other than just this heroic mission or whatever, then it just becomes, this speaks to me because it's kind of like a soldier's mission. A lot of soldiers, unfortunately self-delete because once they've lost that mission and that purpose, they don't find a place for themselves in the world, and they don't have a purpose or wants or desires. And I felt that, and I like it, and I think it works really good. I'll leave in this video in the description. I'm going to leave a link to Passion of the Nerds. Everything is going to be okay video, or the 10 reasons everything's going to be okay, and one of them is Cordy and Wes's dialogue expanded in that scene, and it does very well, and especially when you know the whole of the story. It's pretty good. So this guy, I'm wanting to say Voca Demon, maybe that might be right. I think it's Voca. He comes in like John Wick, just getting rid of all the fucking characters that we don't like. Fucking just these 2 dummies just fucking there, and they're just like, he's like, oh, nothing behind my back. Certainly not a mystical scythe of any kind that I'm going to chop you into pieces with.
I hated these 2 so much.
Yeah, they're not well liked in the fandom. And then he cuts a swath through, Team Angel by putting some sort of spell on Cordy that just, what would be the word? Like a mind virus that just enhances her precognitive abilities. And like, she's, instead of seeing one person in trouble at a time. She's seeing all of them everywhere all at once.
Was it
And just
like a radar jammer? But no,
yeah,
that was
I like
logic
that.
versus making it more intense.
Yeah.
Maybe a
Yeah, I
a
kind of
single
see it as
booster.
I kind of see it as more as a Vision migraine, just sort of like ramped up to 11.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. No, I'll all of those, everything you guys just said is great. I like all of it. And so, Team Angel's under direct attack, and while Angel's going from place to place, basically one step behind the Voca guy, he finds the two oracles dismembered, and then he goes to, I love the fact that he takes the weapon. That's a cool little nod. And then he goes to find Cordelia fucked up, and then after Cordelia he goes to Wesley and sees Wesley gets fucking blown up, but somehow strangely survives the explosion. What did Wesley do? Throw himself into a fucking safe room or some shit? Like,
A
I don't know.
refrigerator.
Yeah, he threw himself in an old refrigerator.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, so, and then of course he has that confrontation that you know he had with Kate. Meanwhile, the Voca guy is not the big thing. He's actually just the little bad, and they're trying to get the big bad out of this box, doing like a reverse, vampires as magical energy spell, kind of similar to Blade, the first Blade movie, is what it brought to mind in my mind with that. And so Angel does something interesting, and he goes to Gunn and just says, "Hey, my people are under attack. They're both they both got attacked. They're both in the hospital. I got to go deal with some shit. Watch their backs." And we don't see it happen, but we know that he's going to do a good job. And I like it. And I wouldn't have minded seeing a little scene with him at the hospital and stuff like that, but we don't need to. You don't need to see it. It's fine. But I like the fact that that's a good way to remind us of a character that's in there as far as that goes. And Wolfram and Hart are doing the fucking spell. At this point, we don't really know what it is because we're supposed to be under the impression that it's some big demon that's going to bring about the end of Angel for like whatever reason, but we don't really exactly know what it is that we're looking at. We're not 100% sure.
I do like the fact that Wolfram and Hart are really bored with the fucking rituals. They just want to get on with it, don't they?
Yeah, they're like, oh, the Latin hasn't even started yet. And I also like that Lindsay, and when shit starts to go sideways, Lindsay's the one they turn to jump into it and deal with Angel. Pretty ballsy, and I'm here for it. And he also competently like finishes the spell, the resurrection spell or whatever. So that's pretty cool too. I like the effects here. Yes, it's kind of ripping off Blade a little bit, but I'm okay with it. I don't have a problem with it. Pretty good fight scene with Angel and the Voca Demon with the Scythe. You wouldn't think those would be good weapons to use, but obviously it is. I love the maggot face thing, and he's just like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking kill it and do that. And then I love the whole fucking Lindsay thinks he's fucking badass, and Angel fucking throws the fucking scythe at him and chops his fucking hand off before he can burn the scroll. I like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it will have lasting results all the way into the next season, which is also pretty cool. And it gives Angel the whole aura farming walkout and all that shit. And then he manages to use the scrolls. Luckily, Wesley is as resilient as ever and comes out of the coma magically in enough time to do the spell to reverse Cordelia. And she's pretty fucked up for it, but she gets on the mend, and Team Angel has to move into her apartment, which I think is also funny. They didn't just instantly have a new HQ, or they didn't just come up with some bullshit. Luckily, I had a friend who was a contractor, and he managed to put the fucking building back together. Although I really like that I really like that building. I love the hotel, and I like the backstory of the hotel. Clearly, duh. Do I like the hotel as the headquarters for the PI business? Yeah.
Life imitating art, imitating life.
Right. But I did like his little building that he had in there. You know what they don't address is all the other fucking offices. I hope nobody was working late in any of those offices that share the building with Angel. Because
And
remember, they had.
there were a few people right in front of the building when it went up too.
I know.
There had to have been someone else getting killed, at least one or two.
It's like the whole Death Star analogy. It's like
the janitorial staff is
the
dead.
janitorial staff is all dead.
Yeah, casualties of a war they had nothing to do with.
Yeah, nothing to do with it. I do like at the end they just kind of figure out, or at least begin to figure out what it is, and they tell Angel, although it's a mislead for those in the know. I'm not going to do like with Buffy and give too many spoilers on Angel's journey because of the fact, out of deference for Critter and Toonie Boy. But let's just say that this whole, oh, I might be a real boy again. It's a misdirect. It's a mislead, but it's a good way to end the season. And I don't have a problem with it. And, seeing Angel smile is always kind of cool. And we find out what was in the box. And it was Darla from season 1, his former paramour brought back to life. And again, that's a mislead as well, which is even better because it's like, this is the beast that's going to bring about the apocalypse or whatever. And indirectly, that's true, but it's also not true. So pretty interesting. Great stuff. And just a great lore building world that we have here with this episode. And I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. My favorite quote. There's a lot of good ones. But I love Angel or a farming walk up to Lindsay and say, Lindsay, that's the thing about prophecies, Lindsay, you got to be careful don't believe everything you're foretold, which I thought was a clever little play on words. I love a good pun and play on words. So, Northern, as I've redirected this, why don't you go next?
Yeah, this is a really good final, and it really does up the stakes. No pun intended, or intended anyway. But, but yeah, you got the whole team getting kind of wiped out. Cordy's got this vision migraine that's crippling her and torturing her. Wesley's just fucking gets blown to Kingdom Come and just has miraculously survived it. And Angel's kind of on his own as well. And once again, we get Gunn showing to be a potential ally later on. He's still kind of this guy who does the little favors for him, though, because he knows he sees the big picture. And we are getting a little bit more into just what a bunch of assholes Wolfram and Hart is as well. I mean, they'll happily align themselves with evil, but even they kind of think the evil that they're aligning themselves with are a bit pretentious and fucking long-winded. It's kind of hilarious. And they still acts like the corporate douchebags in front of their representatives, like a lawyer would act amongst his fucking mob boss.
Yeah.
We do get to see Lindsay show some initiative as well. He's actually taking charge a little bit more. His character is evolving, even though it is kind of in a bad way. And he even tries to actually take on Angel, knowing that it probably will fuck him up. But yeah, he's showing his loyalty to the cause. But once again, it's a good little final as well. And seeing the building blow up is good because then it leads to the hotel in the second series, which I always thought was kind of the best one. At least Wolfram and Hart is still kind of the team going corporate later on, but spoiler alert. But I kind of like the fact that the hotel is a lot better and it still keeps them more as the underdogs taking on the big fish. But it's a good way to end as well, and it ends on a nice little bit of mystery. It brings back a character who really does is given a lot more layers in that second season later on. And Julie Benson is still smoking hot even to this day. I like it. And my favourite quote probably might be the exchange between Wesley and Cordelia talking about, how tragic his alien has nothing he desires and how much it makes us human. And Cordelia replying, well, we're going to make him want something, whether he wants something or not. Yeah. Because only Cordelia could say something so insightful and so moronic and touching at the same time.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a really good one. 5 minutes, Critter. I got to keep you at the sand table to 5 minutes or less.
All right, here we go. You got to give him a hand for facing off against Leslie. Facing off against Angel. My quote again. My quote was just Angel yelling at what's her face. This is about the law. It's about the thing called life. I'm sorry that about your father, but I didn't kill your father, and I'm sick and tired of you blaming me for everything that you can't handle. You want to be enemies? Try me. And it kind of sums up like that friendship is destroyed. And until she gets her shit together, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. You were saying that she's going to be that way going forward. So yeah, that bridge has been burned, and she just couldn't get her shit together to deal with them. Love the episode. I'm glad that the two oracles got taken out because God, they're just pompous asses, and they look like annoying people at like a toga party. No, I thought the episode was great. And the one more thing I want to say is that very film, like, yes, Buffy, Angel is very like Batman-esque and film noir. There's that one, I guess I'll call it a truck shot of the car pulling up before the hotel explodes. And I like that as the camera was right behind the car as it pulled into the spot, just had for a few seconds a very film noir-esque vibe to it. And I liked getting pulled into that just in that moment. Like, that's a really cool shot. Love the episode. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I agree. I would have liked for us not to have seen the Wesley reaction to the, because they went to great pains to show Voca grabbing the scrolls out of the locked cabinet and doing something else, but we don't know what it is exactly. And then, or at least we're led to believe we don't know. But then Wesley's reaction, and then I would have, without Wesley's reaction, they sort of telegraphed it a little bit. So maybe
it had more mystery whether or not he made it.
Yeah, I would have preferred it done handle that a little better. But I'm not, I'm not unhappy with it.
Oh, I also liked when the lower mask fell off the demon, all the maggots in his jaw.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Makes sense though. Yeah.
Yeah, you see that later on in series 4, isn't it?
Yeah. Season 4. You got to start learning how to say season 4.
Yeah. Yes, we're English. We don't like change.
Yeah.
Lousy foreigners can't even speak English.
Yeah. Hey, we went ahead and adopted to the metric system over here, so it's not like you guys can't. Oh wait, no, we didn't. Okay, sorry. Anyway,
centimeters my ass.
Yeah, kiss my ass. So yeah, next week, man. Hopefully we can get the whole band back together to talk about season 5, Buffy, season 2, Angel. Fucking bangers of a season. Although, if I'm being honest, up until the very last scene of can I admit to you guys that the season 5 opener I'm not thrilled with. I don't care for it. The Buffy versus Dracula should have been really cool, and it's cheesy as fuck. And I don't
I kind of agree there. We'll get to it though, but
we'll get there.
We'll a best episode, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. But at the very end, it ends with a stinger, so that's kind of cool. But anywho, that's okay. I'm fine with it. And then the Angel episode is fucking amazing. So like I said, we'll get there with a brand new theme, which is going to be really extra special because I deleted the one that Northern made me, and I fucked up. I'm sorry. Hey, Northern, I'll add an extra when you go over my book. I'll add an extra $20 to make up for that. Is that okay?
That's small and better, man. That's it should be on my laptop anyway. I'll look for it.
I'm really sorry. I'm really fucking sorry. It's
just need to re-upload it. That's it, and then I'll send you the link.
Yeah. No, but I should have my stuff, my Buffy stuff, more together. I did an unacceptable. I'll do better. I'll do better moving forward. All right.
I see that guy, and I always want like a glazed donut.
That's disturbing.
I know.
Oh, gross. Anyway, I guess we'll see you guys next week for season 5 and season 2.
Awesome.
Should be fun.